Welcome along once again here on Ozarks Tonight. Good to have you joining us. I'm David Oliver. I want to get to our political analyst with Color 10 News, Dr. Brian Calfano, who's doing some reporting for us this week from our nation's capital. He joins us this evening from the CNN News Bureau there in D.C. Brian, I know you're out there talking with several Missouri lawmakers this week, right?
That's right, David. And all of these interviews will begin this week, actually starting Wednesday on Ozarks Tonight, and then running through next Monday and Tuesday. We wanted to make sure people had enough time in all of this to get a sense as to when these interviews are going to be on. I spoke with Senator Roy Blunt this morning about a variety of topics, including how we get this $22 trillion national debt under control. I just came from an interview with Representative Vicky Hartzler up in the 4th Congressional District, and I asked her if she can get along, at least personally, with Speaker Nancy Pelosi, so you'd be interested maybe to hear what she had to say about that. And then we've got 25-mile-an-hour winds out there in D.C. right now, and so it's a little hectic getting back and forth from all of these buildings. But I think viewers will hopefully appreciate the work that our members of Congress are doing up here in D.C. and in trying to move things forward. I think the most interesting piece of this is going to be how Hartzler and Representative Billy Long, who I'm actually going to be interviewing later today, ends up actually working as a minority group. Because remember, Republicans in both Hartzler and Long have been in the majority in the House since they both won election back in 2010. So where they go now with their legislative agendas, I think it's an interesting and sort of provocative way to look at the next phase in their congressional careers.
Brian, Roy Blunt made some news over the weekend. He appeared on Face the Nation here on Color 10, or on Color 10 and on CBS, where he talked with Margaret Brennan, the host there, about the president's emergency declaration, where he's going to, get this money to build the wall. Roy Blunt kind of broke with the party a little bit and said, he was concerned yesterday about the president using that declaration to get this money and do this, because it's never really been used in this manner before. Did you ask him about that?
I sure did. That was one of the top questions in the interview. And he essentially said what he said yesterday on our CBS affiliate, as you said, David, which is that he's worried about the precedent that gets sent with this. If it is something that President Trump is able to sustain through any kind of court challenge, the next president of the United States may decide, for example, it's a good idea to declare a national emergency and collect guns, something along those lines. I mean, it could be something that conservatives don't like. So Senator Blunt is worried about what type of signal this would send in terms of Congress saying, here, Mr. President, you have $1.34 billion to put up barriers, and the president wanting more money. Interestingly, I just had that interview with Representative Hartzler. She has the opposite view, David, and she says essentially that there have been emergency declarations made before, and that the president's declaration is well in line with the powers the president has in declaring these sorts of situations. Obviously, her viewpoint is different from Senator Blunt's, but I think really if you look at the Republican Party in general up here at this point, everyone's sort of trying to feel their way through this, because even though Representative Hartzler is right, and there have been dozens of prior declarations made, none have been made for this type of work. Most of those declarations occurred in situations where we were talking about our dealings with entities overseas, for example, or dealings with situations in foreign theaters of war, as opposed to what's going on the southern border. So all of this, of course, is a to be continued as the House Democrats gear up for what is likely to be a court challenge against the president's declaration. But certainly you're right, he does not have 100% Republican support on the Hill for the declaration.
And Brian, I want to get back to here at home. You and my co-anchor Heather Lewis and I are going to begin a 3-night series of reports actually over on Color 10 tonight, talking about prescription drug costs. We're going to have several different angles on this. And there was an AP story that came out yesterday basically saying that Congress and the president seem to be kind of on board, and Congress on both sides of the aisle, in terms of doing something out there this session to help Americans who are trying to afford their prescription drugs. What do you expect to see happening out there on the national level with regard to that issue?
Yeah, you're right, David. I mean, hopefully more than talk. Remember, the president came into office beginning of 2017, and he met with drug company representatives and different constituencies who are concerned about the exploding cost of prescription drugs and trying to find a way to get costs under control. And what ended up happening, I think he ended up trying to undo the Obamacare mandates that were put in place under the previous administration, and of course that led to that showdown with the late Senator John McCain going on the Senate floor and doing the kind of thumbs down in front of Mitch McConnell and all those sorts of theatrical moments in American politics. And so the question of what Washington can do about the issue regarding prescription drug costs is, I think, up in the air. But it makes sense for the president to try to move forward in a bipartisan way on this issue because most of the rest of his agenda is pretty divisive. So if he can find a way to curry some favor with Democrats, who of course control the House of Representatives, by proposing something that they might like in regard to these drug costs, I think it's a win for him. And certainly it's also in tandem with a larger question of drug use in general. Opioid addiction, for example, something the president's talked about, declaring it an emergency. And you have members of both parties on the Hill who are quite happy to talk about their bipartisan sponsorship of bills to try to stem the abuse of those drugs. So lots of opportunities here for the president moving into his third year for sure, and working with the Missouri congressional delegation is certainly something I know he favors, especially Congressman Long, who we're set to talk to here in just a bit.
I know you're staying busy out there gathering the interviews. We will let you get back to work. Dr. Brian Calfano joining us tonight for Ozarks Tonight from our nation's capital. You can watch for Brian's extensive interviews with our Missouri lawmakers coming up this week and next week right here on Ozarks Tonight. We'll have more after this quick break.